Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, August 15th, 2023. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe that it's the little things that make a big difference. You can give them a call today. There's Brian's number, his personal cell phone, right on the screen. Blow him up. And just, you know what? How about this? Send him a text and say hi. Do that. 715-520-2271. Fitzy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Better than Donald Trump.
We can't get into that.
No, we're not getting into that. I'm just saying. You asked how I was doing, and probably better than Donald Trump this morning. Because
he doesn't think he did anything wrong, so I guess.
No, and that's the weird thing, right? The whole world is upside down. It's almost now like you have to ask someone. So you want to run for something? Okay. How many felonies are you currently being charged with? And usually, if the answer is more than one, yeah, you can't run. For him, it just seems like the more he gets, the more popular he gets. It's just so bizarre to me. Again, that's not a political comment. It's just an observational comment. It's just kind of weird.
It's just different, isn't it? It's just different.
It's interesting. Yeah, everything is different.
Right.
All right, so we have a few things to get here this morning. You had an article or a press release last week. Our headline was "Safety Measures Taken as Dynamite Found in Barron County Leads to Controlled Detonation." I had an insider article. Actually, it was just shortly after our show last week. Man sentenced on convictions from violent assault in Barron County. We had talked about that. I think that was the one that got like a $25,000 cash bond, and now he's been sentenced. So I want to get your take on that. And then also we just had an article, I think yesterday, regarding a Wisconsin lawmaker who stated that basically law enforcement, their jobs don't have any value or dignity. So just kind of, again, wanted your takes on that. But as always, we wanted to, real quick. Good morning, Molly. Good morning, Jen. And good morning, Sharon. Oh, I love it. Good morning, everyone. So we always like to start with a sports question. So here's mine.
Okay.
I don't know if you've been watching any of the United States men's basketball World Cup thing. I really haven't. But this morning it was on FS1 at 4 in the morning, and I need something to watch while I'm working. And they were playing Spain. I think it was live, but maybe it was yesterday, but I don't know. So men's basketball, right? This is like the precursor to Olympic stuff and, the dream team and all of this. And America, we're the best. So we have to blow everybody out of the water. Right? We just have to. Well, I was watching it this morning, and it was started in the fourth quarter is when I turned it on. And it was 73-72. We're up by 1 against Spain. I'm like, what? We should be winning like 40 or 50 points. So here are the final results statistically. The Americans shot 67%. Now, there's only 10-minute quarters, so 40-minute game, but 67% total. 71% on two-pointers, which that's an astronomical number. 56% on three-pointers, which is also huge. And they held Spain to 42% shooting. So overall, 67% American shot to 42%. This should be a blowout. Except, yes, we did win, but it was only by 10. 98-88. Is this a cause for alarm? Is this this isn't good because we can't maintain 67% and hold everyone to 40, and we basically were tied until the last 4 minutes. Is this a cause for alarm for Americans?
I watched the game on, I think, Saturday. They played Slovakia.
They blew them out of the water.
Yeah, they did. They did at the end again, and it always comes down to that fourth quarter. They were really close at halftime, and then third quarter, and I didn't watch the fourth quarter. I know they won. I thought they shot too many threes. I think they're a very young team. I mean, they don't have anybody with first or second year, a couple third-year players. So I don't think it's the dream team put together. It's the people vying for some of those final spots. So I think if you put the stars out there with some of these young players, I think the game's different. Yeah. I don't know how many NBA players Spain had on their roster. If they had any. This NBA covers the whole world now, so no cause for alarm. It was fun to watch. I thought they shot too many threes. Kind of looked like an all-star game. They were running the court and just throwing up
Not a lot of fundamentals.
Yeah, there's no fundamental. It looked like an all-star game. And
there we go. Look at that. Spain was ranked number 1. I did not know that, so thank you.
There you go.
But still, winning by 10 points. Well, there you go. Al, you answered that question.
Yeah.
So clearly he knows, and he's been watching it. So shooting 67% for Americans, and the other team 46%, you only win by 10. That's really not okay. Spain's ranked number 1. Didn't know that. So that makes a little bit more sense. But that also tells me that they must have had a lot of turnovers, which is sloppy basketball. Yeah. Anyway,
I think both ways have a lot of turnovers. They were throwing the ball full court, and when I was watching it, so they went and had fun. They're great, but we got some more work to do.
Yeah, I knew you were going to answer something optimistically and positively because you always do. I knew it.
Well,
I think it's over. Like, I'm a knee-jerk reaction kind of guy. They won, but only by 10. That's it. When the tournament starts in a couple of weeks, we're not going anywhere. We're not even going to win this tournament because we barely won this one game. That's me. I wouldn't say pessimistic. I'm optimistic that things can always get worse.
Well, today's a good day to have a good day. Well, let's just have a good day.
Okay. Let's have a good day.
You're on somebody's roof. Pretty soon mine. We're almost there, Brian. I'm going to have you on my roof shortly. So.
Oh, right. That's right. He did your parents last week during our show. He was on the roof of your parents' house.
He's on the roof.
Yeah. And by the way, Brian, you may be getting some random texts this morning for no particular reason.
If we like that, make sure you're having a good day.
Yeah.
My sports question was you answered before we got on the air because I was going to ask you how Madden 24 was, but it wouldn't download or something last night.
It's so frustrating. So, video games now for PS5, they're $70. But I spent an extra $30, so $100 to get early access. So I get it 3.5 days, and everybody can do this. 3.5 days early, and then you get a whole bunch of other things for like Madden Ultimate Team. So 7 o'clock, so it was pre-downloaded. 7 o'clock, I'm ready to go, and all the servers are down. So for an hour and a half, couldn't play.
Your servers or
theirs? EA's servers were down because too many people were logging in. Well, duh. So, and then at 8:30, I'm like, screw it, I went to bed. So, yeah, I don't know why I spent all this money when...
You didn't get on?
I did like an exhibition game just to try it out or something, but none of it counts. Can't do anything because you can't connect to the server. Nowadays, anything on a PS5, you have to be connected, so it tracks everything. It was, unfortunately. Yeah, I even sent you a screenshot yesterday.
I know, I was all excited.
A text with saying that, okay.
I haven't bought it yet, but I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I don't play it a lot, but I think it'll be a good...
It's just something to kind of unwind, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and Brian said that he did 8 roofs on... We did 8 roofs on Chris Parent Street. Like, holy cow!
Yeah, they hammered it all last week. So
that's no kidding.
Lot.
All right, so we have several things to get to this morning. Well, 3 things that we definitely want to address. So we'll get to that after 15 seconds. The word from Spooner Health and Mike Schaefer.
Satisfaction surveys and in conversations with patients, they appreciate the fact that staff got to know them. Staff really took their preferences into account, and they just feel grateful that they are being cared for as a person.
To learn more about our services, visit spoonerhealth.com.
Preferences. Yeah, we only have 3 things to talk about today, so if anybody has a question, we can solve any problem. It's like right. Fitzy, me, and Vanilla Ice. You got a problem, we'll solve it. Like the 3 of us, we can knock it out. So
I've been solving stuff all day. I got a whole pile off my desk. I'm ready to go today.
Nice. We can solve anything.
I might even go do police work today. Who knows?
What?
Probably not.
No, I'm just kidding. Like anything. It doesn't matter. Abortion. That's the one thing, the third rail you don't talk about. I can solve that problem, no problem. It's easy. Just stop people from having sex. Done. How do you do that? Bring back the H2 Hummer. Because that thing's just a rolling contraceptive. Like, no woman looks at a man in that and goes, I want to hit that. No. Now, granted, we'll be extinct in 100 years because nobody will be procreating, but boom, solve the problem of abortion. Don't even have to worry about it because nobody's having sex. See?
Let's move on to dynamite.
Okay, dynamite's a better story. Our headline was safety measures taken as dynamite found in Barron County leads to controlled detonation. That was a press release that you sent out last week. For people who didn't see that, what was that about?
We had dynamite and we blew it up. There you go.
There we go. Next.
No. So some people were working at the Hungry Hollow grounds just north of Barron here right on Highway 25. There's that grounds, and they add a building to it every so often. If somebody's, old farmstead has something they want to donate, they move this building. Well, back in 2016, they moved this little corn shed to it. Well, it was kind of getting dilapidated, and they wanted to put a new roof on it, so they took the old roof off. Well, in the rafters of that roof, there was a little storage area or whatever you want to call it, and there was 2 crates. So they took these 2 crates out of this before they replaced the roof, put them down on the ground, put the new roof on, got looking at the crates and thought, that doesn't look like something normal. It looks like long sticks, and it was dynamite. It ultimately ended up being dynamite. We actually moved that dynamite. We didn't know it was live. Well, we knew it was live, but we thought it was safe based on some information we had. We moved it here. We called the bomb squad. They came here. They said, it's not as safe as you think, and we need to go blow it up because we can't transport it. So we took it out to our range, the county's range that was closed, did some neighborhood notifications, missed a couple neighbors. They were kind of upset with this loud bang. Sorry.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that. You should probably let people know.
Well, we did them, and they just weren't home at the time. And anyway, long story short.
Well, how could they be upset if they weren't there?
Well, they were there when the boom went off.
Oh,
but
got it.
Knocked on the door. There was a delay. We knocked on the door. It was supposed to happen 15 minutes later. There was a delay in they got to make sure it's done properly, and there were some safety things that needed to be done. It took a little bit longer. Anyway, they detonated about 80 sticks of dynamite that were found in this shed that had been there for a couple years. Well, I didn't know dynamite, the hydroglycerin that comes out of the dynamite, leak out of it, and it leaked on some of the boards in this corn shed. Plus, there was a couple of loose sticks of dynamite that were in the floor, in this kind of boarded area in the floor that they didn't want to touch. So they said, the only way to burn this and make sure it's was to burn this building to make sure we get rid of it. Because if someone were to pound a nail into that hydroglycerin, it could ignite and start a fire or have a small explosion. We didn't want that. We worked with the Hungry Hollow people, their board, and, we just ultimately had to burn the building. So we had a controlled burn with the help of the Barron Fire Department. A funny story, I had the Barron Fire Department come out to burn this little corn shed. And so we met with the Marathon County Bomb Squad was here, and they do all this work free of charge for us. We had FBI chemists on the phone. They were talking to them about the leakage, and it was quite the ordeal. But ultimately we said we needed to burn this. So the Barron Fire said, okay, light it. And we're like, we don't have anything to light it. We figured you would bring something. They're like, no, we put fires out, don't start them. So we had to go find something to light a fire so that the firemen could put it out. But so we had the firemen light a fire and then put it out. So
have you ever had to do something like that in your time as sheriff?
We've detonated other explosive devices that people have had. The Marathon County Bomb Squad's basically the only bomb squad in the area in the whole state. I mean, there's ones, Madison and Milwaukee have their own, but we don't. They cover most of the state. So pretty good group of guys and gals. They came up and do all that. That was a lot of dynamite. That was had a little bit bigger bang than they thought. It was a big boom with the big fireball that went up. We did 2 of them detonations, but we had to get pretty far back. So there's some good video that somebody attached on our Facebook. In the comments section under that press release.
I didn't see that. I'll have to go and look.
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was safe. It was something we had to do. I didn't really want to burn that old corn bin. I'm lucky it was just a small building. There was nothing else around it. They'll find another one. So that's they're good with that, and everybody's safe, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean that had to be a little bit scary when you see that, and thankfully that person identified it. I mean, I don't know. Is dynamite illegal? I know it's a stupid question, but I really don't know anything about dynamite other than it's dynamite. But I'm assuming you can't just buy it, right? Or I mean, like if you're a company, maybe you can.
I'm sure you got to have an explosive license and all that. You just can't have, I don't know the answer if dynamite's illegal. I assume it is, but I don't know.
All right.
By the way, I don't think it was, because I think you used to be able to buy it. There's stories here that you used to be able to buy it at stores. Farmers used it all the time. For different things, and you could buy it at the store back in the day. So I don't know the answer to that.
Speaking, so I see Molly Parent on here. Molly had messaged us yesterday, and she said, in case I missed tomorrow's show, I wanted to ask will Barron add these mobile spikes? And I didn't click on this. There's a Bloomington. Molly, go ahead and ask a question. There was a video and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but asking something about mobile spikes, what they are. So Molly, if you want to put that in, go ahead. Let's move on to our next one while we're waiting. And that is, it was an insider story that we did last week. Our headline was Man Sentenced on Convictions from Violent Assault in Barron County. You and I talked about this a couple of months ago. It was a domestic situation, but it was a violent domestic situation. And the reason we were talking about it is because we did a story that there was a $25,000 cash bond, and you and I were talking about we typically don't see a $25,000 cash bond for a domestic. Not saying that there shouldn't always be. It just, that was a lot more than we're used to seeing, which was a good thing. This is just part of the story here. The court has sentenced Jesse Stelton, age 30, of Weyerhaeuser, for convictions from a violent incident that occurred in Barron County in June of 2023 and resulted in numerous injuries for a female victim. Skipping judge. Yeah, so it was on June 12th, he's placed on a $25,000 cash bond. Judge Babler accepted a plea, basically a plea deal guilty of several different charges. He was ordered to serve 1 year and 6 months of initial confinement on each conviction. They are concurrent, so he's going to be serving them together, but he gets a year and 6 months, so that's prison time, right? You can't have over a year in jail. He did get 56 days served in confinement, or a credit for, but that would still keep him over the 1 year, so it's prison. There is some conditions, supervision, and has to register probation, prohibited from possessing a whole bunch of stuff afterwards. I think 2 years of probation.
Right.
But when you see this, I can't remember the last time, and maybe I'm just not remembering it very well, but prison time for a domestic, that I don't recall seeing that very often. Do you, and are you, this is one of those we always like to ask, are you happy with the result?
Well, yeah, this is another... I would say step up to the domestic violence. I mean, it was a serious case. I mean, not that everyone isn't serious. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this one rose to a little higher level. We've had one in the past, way more violent than this, that the person did get several years prison for. I think I'm happy with it. What I'm really happy about is it's June 23. It
How
happened.
fast?
It's August of 23 and the guy's going to prison already.
I know it.
What happened there? He must have just said, I waive everything and plead guilty.
Just get it over with, right? One of those kind of things.
I'm just shocked that we went from June to August and the guy's going to prison already. He's on our prison list to go, and it's crazy. We took one to prison today, not that person, but we've been sending a lot more people to prison, so welcome to Barron County. I think the judges got the message. And again, I go back to when we voted in April and we all said, protect our communities, give judges more power to hire bonds, cash bonds, all that. I think our Barron County judges took that to heart and said, we represent the people, and the people have spoken very, that was huge numbers, 70 or 80% that people wanted this stuff. And I think it's very important, and I think our judges are listening, and we've sent a lot of people to prison lately.
You're right. So I'm just looking regarding how quick this happened. So the incident happened in June, and then on June 12th, shortly thereafter, he's placed on a bond. And this article was a week ago today I put this out. So that was August. So that's less than 2 months to go from arrest, criminal complaint, bail, go through the whole thing to sentencing. That just isn't typical.
No, that guy must have said, I did wrong, and I'm going to make up for, I'm going to, get my whatever. So
that could be. But yeah, happy to see that, actually. I mean, not happy to see it. You know what I mean?
Right, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
but getting a prison sentence for that, because we need to take that stuff seriously. So here was the question from Molly Parent. I guess it's just a very straightforward question. Will Barron add mobile spike strips for high-speed chases? First, explain. I don't know what a mobile...
We have every one of our squads has spike strips in them. So I would assume that's what you mean. Ours are mobile. We throw them out in front of cars. Every one of our squads has them. Well, not mine, but all of our patrol cars have those.
They don't let you have them, or what? No.
Yeah, that's right.
Fitzy, sorry, we can't let you have it.
Yeah, that's right. I only have one bullet in my gun. I just
in your pocket, right?
In my pocket. This one doesn't have a pocket in this shirt, so I actually had to put my gun today.
Oh, that's great. Molly said, meet Brian Wright. Assuming she's referring to the DA in Barron, the Dairy Breakfast. He should join you. Oh, yeah, that'd be great to have him on sometime.
Yeah, Brian's a good guy. He knows his stuff, and he's the guy sentencing all these people, not sentencing them, but charging these guys so they go to prison. So
yeah, in Babbler, this is another Babbler case. That dude's killing it. Just saying. Yeah. Every time I see something, I can't remember the last time I saw something that the Honorable Babbler was on that I went, what now? Like almost every single one is like, all right, that's good. How long has he been there?
He's been here forever. And
that probably
he's
helps.
legit.
Yeah, no kid. I'm serious. Like almost everything he does, I'm like, wow, that's great. Love it, love it, love it. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case all the time. And sometimes, we don't know everything about everything that's going on. We're not in every single courtroom hearing everything. But yeah.
And Judge Bitney's last day is Thursday. So he's retiring.
I thought it was September 15th.
Well, his last court on the bench is Thursday. Then he has vacation or however the state.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So he's actually done on the 18th.
Well, we should have him on too. See how things are, after he's no longer the judge.
There you go.
Just see everyone. Wasn't the deadline the Barron County judge? The governor extended that deadline. I sent an email yesterday morning to the governor's office. Don't worry, we probably won't get a response. They never respond. But we just asked them how many people had applied for the job. We didn't need names or anything. Just how many people applied. What's the next step process? Do you need someone by September 15th? Just ask some basic questions. So yeah, I guess we're still just on a wait and hold.
I was told off the record there was a couple that were thinking about applying, but that's all I know.
I know of two that were thinking about it, but I don't know if they did. I only know two. There was two originally that I was told that didn't get the job. Then it was extended, and I know of two. Shouldn't say no.
Two different ones.
I believe that there are two additional, but I don't know if those two actually did or not.
Just hear the third name, but yeah, I don't know if any of the three applied. So
yeah, right. Me either.
Waiting to hear that exactly from the governor's office either. So check DrydenWire.
So. No, don't, because they won't, Well, send a press release and we'll post that, but they won't respond to our emails. All right.
Let's talk about this genius, the next one. This guy's a genius.
Picking up on your sarcasm there.
I'm about to.
So we had a story. So let me just since we have a little time here, let me give you the backstory real quick. A week ago, right after our show, I got a message from someone with a screenshot. And it showed someone saying that cops' jobs don't have value or dignity or something like that. And I'm like, why are you sending this to me? Like, well, that's one of it's a representative. It's a lawmaker. I'm like, no. Like, a lawmaker's not going to say that, right? So, what? So I looked into it a little bit and found out, holy cow, that was his official account and did. I get it, though. Sometimes you say things on Facebook because that's where it was. It was in the comments. And he was going after what appeared to be a troll, and that's kind of where he was going with this, saying that, even trolls' jobs have values, but not cops. And I'm like, wait, not cops, though? What? So I don't really do political articles, but I didn't view this as a political article. At the time, I didn't even know if he was a Democrat or Republican, didn't care. But it was a lawmaker saying something like that about law enforcement. That's just really bizarre. So I sent an email Tuesday. Then I called to make sure they got it. They said, yep, we'll get you an answer, a response, because I just asked, does he stand behind his comment? And at the same time, please expand, right? Provide context. Let us know why, explain this. You can use 10,000 words if you want. Just explain this more, elaborate. They said, we'll get you an answer by Thursday. The next day on Wednesday, they called and said, so do you want him to come on a show? And I'm like, well, I don't even know what he's going to say yet. So why don't we start with, the response? Okay, we'll get it to you by tomorrow, end of business. Thursday comes, end of business. We don't get anything. I email, I call. It's weird. You call, and then it just goes to it just gets disconnected after like 10 rings. There's no voicemail. It's really weird. Send an email Thursday night, nothing. Friday, same thing, nothing. Call, email. But Friday afternoon, they said, okay, we'll get something to you soon. Go through the weekend, and I'm thinking on Monday when I then called again, once again, no answer. Emailed once again, thinking, all right, they're working on this, right? And then I get an email Monday afternoon, and it's like 3 sentences. Like, it took you 6 freaking days to just send 3 sentences. So it was kind of there's not really much of a story here anymore. But for people who don't know, their headline was Representative Ryan Clancy takes stand against policing. Quote, their jobs have neither dignity nor value. Wisconsin State Representative recently commented on social media that cops have neither dignity nor value. Representative Clancy, who was serving his first term in the Assembly down in the 19th District in Milwaukee, was apparently addressing another user on Facebook when he posted the following: all work has dignity and value, even trolling. Not cops, though. And the responder said, so for the record, you just stated that police officers' job have no dignity or value? To which he replied, that's entirely correct. They may be perfectly fine individuals, but their jobs have neither dignity or value, so he asked for clarification, and this was the response that took 6 days. The representative does, so I believe this is not even written by him then, the representative does indeed stand behind his initial statement. The statement does not refer to individuals who choose to be in law enforcement, but rather a statement on the profession as a whole. Quote, policing as an institution, as a legacy of slave catching and union busting, largely enforces the ruling class over the poor and otherwise marginalized. It is inherently racist, classist, and cannot be reformed. Hey, what are your thoughts?
Hey, I have a whole bunch.
Go right ahead.
First of all, I hope it's his last term. Second, he should get out of the 1900s because policing has reformed and changed. I'm not saying no profession is perfect. I mean, we've never came on this show and said law enforcement is the greatest profession in the world. We make no mistakes. We've never done anything wrong. That's not what we've ever said. I don't want him to come on the show because
we're not going.
I mean, it's just not. Why say that? I mean, that's just, you're just trying to dig at something. I hope the Milwaukee Police Union and everybody down there doesn't go after him, but takes a stand against statements like this. This is how we create division in America. And that's what has to stop, is this. And I'd like to call him a couple names, but that's just adding fuel to the fire. And I'll take the high road and just say, he's wrong. Law enforcement has some dignity. If he wants to come up here, I can show him a sign we're going to dedicate to Hunter and Emily next week, and talk about dedication and dignity. So he's just wrong, 100%. I'm not saying in the early days law enforcement did that, but I know that's the way some people feel, that we create these laws and that the poor people have to stay in jail and the rich people get out of jail. That's not how it works in Barron County. You've seen the bail logs. You've seen everything like this. I mean, there's nothing like that that goes into effect here. It has nothing to do with keeping people in jail that are poor. We just don't have bond conditions like that. We get bond modifications all the time. I mean, he needs to get with the justice system and see it. Maybe Milwaukee's a different story. I don't think Milwaukee and Barron County are that. I mean, I know there's differences, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's not, but I don't think they're drastically different where someone has to say that about law enforcement.
See, that's interesting. That was one of the parts that I found fascinating, was that contrast between rural Northwest Wisconsin and how we view law enforcement. And to be clear, again, this is not a political thing. Democrats, Republicans alike in Northwest Wisconsin support law enforcement. Now, not everybody, I get it. So if he was because he's a 19th district in Milwaukee in the Assembly, if he was in the Assembly, I saw Representative Gabe Magnifici said good morning, so she must be watching. If he was in her, if she said that, again, don't care Republican or Democrat, but if someone said that around here, it'd be like, what? Like, he would never get elected. And that's the part that's really fascinating to me. I would assume that his constituents probably are like, yes, that's why we like him. Because what a different world it must be.
Right.
When you can say that, and then because of things like that, that's why you get elected. Right. That is interesting. You're right. There's not that much of a difference, but still there must be a difference between Milwaukee and here, because Gabe Magnifici cannot come out and say cops' jobs have no value or dignity.
Right.
What? She would get kicked out of office. She would get like 2% of the votes next time around. But obviously he won his election.
Yeah, I don't think he probably said that before he got elected, but maybe he did. But I can't believe that when he needs help or someone breaks into his house that, he's not going to call the police and say, help me. And he's going to, and the worst part is the police are going to come and do their job.
Well, that's the best part, actually. Not the worst. That's actually the best part. Right. They're going to. And that's what, honestly, I was hoping for when I would ask for him to elaborate on this, provide context. Because I can understand that you've gone through something very traumatic in your life. You've had a horrible experience with law enforcement. Okay, I get that. Now it's real to you.
Right.
But he didn't say that. There wasn't any of that. He just doubled down with some more comments, but didn't actually, but why do you feel that way? Except for a couple of sentences, and I don't know, I feel like there should have been a little bit more to help us understand what that kind of means. Gay said he's a socialist. I did see there was another article that was written about this, and apparently he is one of, there's a new, socialist group in Madison. There's only two of them. Representative Clancy and somebody else. So they kind of form their own socialist thing.
It sounds like he needs some attention, and if he's a representative, then change the law. Then let's change a new law to make law enforcement better, buddy. Then do something about it.
Right. But, well, that's the scary part too. He's an actual lawmaker, and he, oh man, oh,
makes me. I don't really want to run for office, but guys like him make me want to run for office. So it's just like.
And again, don't care that he's a Republican or a Democrat. I believe he's a Democrat. Right. I didn't know that at first. I didn't even put in that he's a Democrat in the article because I don't care.
You called me and said, you ever heard of this guy? I'm like, you never heard of him. Where's he from?
I hadn't heard of him either. Yeah. And again, I would have preferred had he provided more information because this was his platform. We didn't get law enforcement's take on it. We didn't call Romaine Quinn and say, hey, add to this, right, so you can go after. It wasn't that. It was your story to tell. Here's what happened. This is why I'm contacting you. Please elaborate. And that was it. So a little disappointed, but honestly, the statement, he didn't do anything because I want to give them benefit of the doubt. Ultimately, that's what I was hoping. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and not judge him for any of this stuff. But when he kind of doubles down but doesn't provide context, okay, now, not a fan. Sorry. Just not.
He must be running. He needed some attention, or he must be running for someone bigger. And now we just gave him a bunch of airtime, and everybody knows his name now, and they're searching him.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I get that, and there's a part of me that thinks that don't do these things that don't allow him to have that platform. But that's not fair to that person either. They should be able to, comment without a story. Like Fox News did a story about him, and they got it all wrong. They started right off with that he was a former lawmaker. No, he's a current. They didn't even get the facts straight. Which, that makes everybody else look bad when you can't even get your facts straight. I don't know. And then he had shared that onto his page because I went to his page and said, really, this is the thing that they're talking to me about what I just said? I've said way worse things for a lot longer. This is tame. I don't think he was tame, but so apparently this is what he says all the time. And I think he's also a district supervisor in Milwaukee. I didn't know he could have both jobs at the same time.
Sounds great. Hope somebody runs against him.
Yeah. There. Yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, no kid. I mean, that's just so. I've never actually heard I've heard people say that they don't like cops, and they have their reasons. Fine,
100%.
But I've never heard of a lawmaker say that they don't have any dignity or value. That just blows my mind. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Right.
I don't know. I guess it's just you and I that find it so fascinating. Or so what now? So I think this is Dirk's way of saying, hey, shut up, guys. Wrap up the show.
That's right.
Nice today.
Beautiful.
Damaging winds the main. Okay, high mid-80s. Cool on Thursday. Oh, nice. Hot and humid the weekend. Thank you very much, Dirk, our official weather person. And I saw Molly Parent had a question in here. What happened in Chautauqua yesterday near Dairy Queen? People getting ice cream.
Blizzard sale? I don't know. Yeah, maybe there was a 2-for-1 blizzard. I don't know.
A lot of cops were there, I guess. It was a good sale.
Couldn't tell you that one. Nothing that needed my attention, put it that way.
Did you? In Chautauqua. Well, yeah, that'd probably be a Chautauqua thing.
Right.
But yeah, if you didn't send out a press release, then it must not have been.
It didn't happen. No.
It didn't. Fake news.
Fake news. No.
Fake news.
Couldn't tell you that one. Sorry.
All right. So what else do you have? That was it. That's all we have to talk about.
That's it. Well, that's good. It's 10 after. It's 5 after, I should say.
5 after. Yeah, we can wrap it up early. But is there anything else going on down there you want to talk about, or?
Actually, one of the jewelers called me yesterday about a scam. People have been peddling fake jewelry in parking lots, and he's seen a couple people bring in this jewelry that they said they bought from somebody in a parking lot. So that would be your first sign that it's probably fake. And so he's like, yeah, and it's like one time it was a family, and they were trying to get home, and they said, "This is all we have. Would you buy this jewelry?" And it looks like 18 karat gold.
Oh.
So he's seen a couple cases of that in the last month in the Rice Lake area. So don't buy jewelry from anybody in a parking lot. It's fake. It looks like real gold. It says 18 karat on it even. But don't buy it. It's a scam. It's not worth anything, he said. And they brought it in to get it appraised or whatever. So don't buy anything from anybody in a parking lot. How's that?
I mean, I think that's just a pretty good, rule of thumb. Wait, sorry. I'm not supposed to say rule of thumb. That's
Why?
I don't remember, but that's not a PC thing. You can't say rule of thumb.
Okay.
I don't remember. Something about like that was the size. Something about I don't remember. But you're not supposed to say that anymore. So
okay.
I'm always being told what I'm not supposed to say. I don't know. I just called H2 Hummers rolling contraceptive, so I should be able to say rule of thumb.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't buy stuff from people in parking lots. And I know everybody wants to help. That's what we do in Northwest Wisconsin. We help each other if they're stranded or people need money. But don't buy. Just give them money. Then don't take something from them.
Well, and that's interesting because around here, we're so nice as borderline gullible because we want to help everybody.
We trust too much. I mean,
right. That's where I was going with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing else we got cooking. Nothing. We had nothing going on this weekend that I can see on my calendar. So should be a pretty quiet weekend, hopefully.
Really? What is that? It's only Tuesday today. Hey, real quick question: Do you have deputies that have take-home squads? Is that a thing in Barron?
All of our deputies have take-home squads,
and some of them don't live right next to it. They live a ways away. I'm assuming. I mean, not like right next to Barron, right next to the sheriff's office. They live in different cities, etc. Is there a liability thing down there, or an issue down there, or that you know of? Is for the deputies that have take-home squads? Can they just kind of use them whenever? For whatever? I mean, do you want them like, hey, when you go somewhere like Dairy Queen with your family or you got to drop your kids off at school, take the vehicle in case there's an event. I want you to, or is it nobody's in the car. Nobody can be in there. I mean, except for bad guys.
I'm not saying that I haven't allowed, our deputy's late and he's got to pick up his kid at daycare because he's got late. He was on a call and he got tied up late. I'm never saying our people have never transported their kids home from daycare, from school, or picked them up at a football game or went to their kid's football game and gave them a ride home. That's 100% okay. As long as one of my captain, my chief deputy, or I okay it, that's okay. But no, they don't. And when they're off duty, if they're off on Tuesday and they can't, and they want to go to dinner at the Dairy Queen, they can't go to the Dairy Queen in their car.
Sure.
No.
So they could be fine if they drop the kids off at school every morning. This isn't like one of those exceptions. Just every morning, go ahead and drop the kids off, kind of a thing. That's fine.
Not every morning, but we, if somebody said, "Hey, my wife got called into work early. Can I drop Billy off at school?" Yeah, it's that 100%.
What is the reason for that? Is it a liability thing, or is it an optical, like an optic thing?
That what we don't allow them
that you prefer not to, right?
Every day, it's just obviously. Patrol's a little different than detectives because they're on patrol, so they're on duty. But also, if you get your kid halfway to school and the call happens, then your kid's in you when you go to that call. You're not going to run your kid to school and then go on the call because we don't have a delay in service. We don't want a delay in service. So, so there's certain things there. But once in a while, it happens and life happens, and we tell people to hold over and they have to come in early, and their wives or husbands or whatever get called in and they work other jobs. So. We try to be as flexible as we can, but take-home squads is one of a very big incentive to sheriff's departments over municipal police departments.
You know what? You're right. Like, I don't even think Dave. Oh, shoot. We didn't say our Dave Wilson. Where's this? Dave Wilson? Yeah, we didn't say Dave's name today. I don't even think he has a take. No, and he's the chief of police, for crying out loud. I didn't realize that. I never thought about that. So, are there any chiefs that have take-home?
Yeah, when I was at Rice Lake PD, when I was a school liaison, a detective, I had a take-home squad. Chief Rule allows his administrators, they have take-home squads. They're detectives if they live in the city limits or very close.
Oh,
now,
sure.
we're actually changing our policy or working on changing our policy to help with retention, and you're going to be able to possibly drive outside of the county certain miles to live outside the county. Like Russ County allows his deputies to live 15 miles or 20 miles. So there's some Russ County deputies that you might see their squad in the city of Rice Lake because they live here, or Cameron, or near Russ County line. So somebody else at Washburn, I think, allows their deputies.
Yeah, there's like a lot of deputies that don't even live in the county, which I'm not saying. I don't care.
Right. But there's certain miles restrictions. There's certain rules to that. Like you got to, if you work at 6 p.m., you have to be in the county at 6 p.m. So they have to leave their house. They can't just, like, our deputies can check in at 6 a.m. They can check in from their driveway.
If they live in the county.
If they live in the county. If you don't live in the county, you have to be inside the county limits at the time your shift starts. Certain rules like that departments have. It's a tactic. So if I wanted to hire a Shell Lake, maybe their wife is a teacher in Shell Lake, and he loves being a Shell Lake cop, but I'm going to steal him from Dave Wilson.
That's
and
typical.
Now he gets to take home squad. Yeah.
You steal everybody else, so yeah.
Right. Why not? Right.
Well.
Right. Yeah, I'm a stealer.
Yeah.
I don't make them fill out the applications. They fill them out.
Hey, by the way, washburnjobs.com. Go to washburnjobs.com. You can see home to jobs for the Washburn County government, including jailer and dispatcher, because Fitzy keeps stealing them all, amongst a whole bunch of other ones.
I just create an atmosphere down here that's fun and appetizing.
Hey, appetizing. That's good. You should put that on the promotion. It's very appetizing.
I gotta go. I'm losing you. I'm in a tunnel.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up.
Or you get yourself in trouble.
For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden. You've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business has provided quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Give Brian a call today, 715-520-2271. We'll be back next week for I was just going to ask him, a shorter show. I believe next week is a hard 9 o'clock cutoff, and I was just going to ask Fitzy why, but apparently he's too busy. Yeah, so until next week. There you go.
I'm back. I'm frozen.
Oh, I was going to ask you, I was just putting in, we're back next week. Is next week the week that we're going to do a shorter show? Is that the 9 o'clock cutoff time? Is that next week?
Yeah, it is.
We're
having a dedication that after.
Oh, that's for the. Yeah, tell people what that's. Oh, I don't know. That's not open to the public.
That's not open to the public, so it's just family law enforcement. But they'll see it in the meeting. We're dedicating some signs to Hunter and Emily on the highway. That's what we're doing next week. So.
All right, so it'll be a little bit short of a show. So hopefully not a whole bunch of press releases that you'll be sending out. And we can have a quick show next week. Awesome. Thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for your comments. Have a blessed day. We'll see you next week.